Keighley. How do you do?
Hello, how do you do? Listen, man, the first question I wanted to ask you, because we're going to go way back, but the first one I wanted to ask you, when I was out on a walk today, I was thinking, what I've always wanted to know, like, where's Roy come from when you call Kieran? Like, I don't know if everybody at the club wants to know that. So I think if everybody's listening, you've got to explain why people call you Roy when it's actually Kieran. Because I call you both of them.
Aren't we better off just keeping a bit of mystique, though?
You could say that. You could say that. If you don't want to tell people, I understand.
Is it embarrassing?
No. I'll tell you. It isn't even a good story. Right?
Is it your escort name?
Right, let's move on. No, everyone at Jiu-Jitsu calls me Roy because it's an old work thing, right? I'm a builder, and I worked on a building site, and everyone were Roy. Like, I've been on some sites where it's Ken, other ones where it's Roy, but at the time I was working on a site called Roy, so everyone I came across, it went, all right, Roy, hey up, Roy. So when I started Jiu-Jitsu with Dwayne, I went to his first class that he taught, and I went with my mate Craig, and he introduced me as Roy. So that's my mate Roy. So from then on, Dwayne's called me Roy. I even told him, we spoke on phone a few days after, I was getting some supplements or something like that, and I'm like, oh, all right, Dwayne, it's Kieran. He's like, who? Oh, Roy. He's like, oh, right, yeah, Roy. And it's just stuck. It's
wow.
Just Roy.
There we go.
That's the story.
There we go.
That's it.
I asked Joe, like, I said to Joe, I wonder where it's come from. Joe thought it was your middle name. So, Joe, you were wrong there.
Yeah, I guess wrong. Yeah. That's quality.
Yeah, it's quality, man. So, I don't want to waste a ton of time talking about COVID times, but we're going to spend a tiny little section of it just to see how you're doing, man. How are you doing? How is things with you? How are you ordering? Because we're like, how long is it since we trained? I'm saying like 8 weeks, 2 months.
No, it's longer.
Is it 9 weeks? Is it?
It were when we locked down. We're at 23rd of March. Is that right?
Yeah.
The gym shut at the beginning of the week. I think we maybe trained Sunday, and then Monday, gym's got closed.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. What is that? Joe, we're all looking at Joe now.
Yeah, 9 weeks, mate. We were 9 weeks into not training from that week. But the one person that I've thought about, and I'll be like, I bet he's fucking spinning in his boots. He's you, Kieran. Because I was like, he's always there. He's there, like, every time you can possibly be at the gym. That is your thing. I was like, I bet he's going fucking insane with this. So
Jiu-Jitsu, that's correct.
Yeah, man. Are you like itching at the bit to get back? I bet.
Yeah. I really miss teaching my classes. I really do. I've been thinking about them a lot. I think when I go back, my classes are going to be better for sure. But yeah, I just want to get going again. I just want to train, man. I want to train with everyone. I want to choke you all, especially you. I want to wrist lock you, mate.
Oh, mate, I know, yeah.
No, but how have you dealt with like just non-activity in jiu-jitsu? Because like, how long for everybody listening that doesn't know or that does know how long have you been training jiu-jitsu? Because it's
I'm trying to work it out. I don't know if I started training in 2007 or 2008. I think it was early 08, but it's vague.
Yeah, man.
So I think it's about 12 years. I think I'm about 12 years in, maybe yeah.
And is this the longest period you've gone without actually doing any jiu-jitsu? It's got to be.
Yeah, I've always just trained all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. I had a double knee op, and I had maybe 6 weeks away, something like that. Okay. So yeah, this is longer than that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's way longer, especially as well when you're feeling fit and healthy. You wake up in a day, like Joe was saying the other day, not doing jiu-jitsu is just like seems to have regenerated all his joints to a certain degree. He's feeling a little bit like more supple, and like how are you? When you wake up with loads of energy, how are you dealing with that, man? How's it feeling?
But I got to work every day.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
I got to work every day. I've been doing more work because there's less jiu-jitsu. I've been doing more work because when we went into lockdown, sites closed, so I had 6 weeks at home, and I were at my wit's end at times, but I put my energy into kettlebells. I've started training kettlebells almost every day, and like a 20-minute blast of kettlebells, like about it. It's good. Really into it now, really enjoying it. And I've done bits before, but I've always ended up injuring myself. And now I've done it properly and learned good technique, and like I've made myself strong, and I seem to have like balanced out any like imbalances what I had, any weaknesses. It kind of finds them for you. So that's a massively good thing to come out of it. What was the question though?
No, you're answering no, it's good, man. You're answering my question, really. Just what you've been up to in this period of time, and what's been kind of, putting a wet cloth over your flames in the sense of not being able to train. So, like, yeah, man, you seem to have. I think the good thing to come about it, I made a bit of a plan in my own head that I know that I wanted to be stronger by the time I come back to do jiu-jitsu again, because I'd only just started jiu-jitsu, I was a year into it. So then bang, I have to take 2 months off, and it's probably going to be about 3 months, and probably, I don't know, we should all start training now. It's ridiculous, but that's a different separate point. I just wanted to get stronger, so I've been lifting every day and trying to get stronger. And I think you're answering the same question. It's like, I'm going to get a massive kettlebell, and I'm just going to do functional strength and get stronger. So by the time I get back, I'm not going to be any weaker. You're probably not going to be a black belt now, though. You'll probably be a brown belt when you get back, and you've probably forgotten a few things,
Okay.
Yeah. It's not going to happen. I mean, I'm getting a little bit worried because you two have been doing loads of weight training. I've been doing fuck all. So, but I think...
have you just done nothing, you bum?
I've done bits, but not put any muscle mass on or anything like that. But I think you've been sharing quite a lot of videos on the BJJ Facebook page. Have you been mentally engaging with jiu-jitsu? Because this is one thing Lee hasn't been doing. He's just stepped away from it completely and been like, I'll come back to this when the lockdown's over. Did
you see the video I shared the other day, the 22 black belt submissions from 2018?
I did. Yeah, I did see that.
So I'd been watching that for about 2 weeks before I even shared it. And I've probably watched it 5 times a day, every day. And I shared it about a week ago, and I've just carried on. I'm like, I'll sit in my van and I'll have something to eat, and I'll just put it on and watch it, because it's got cool music to it too, right?
Yeah. So you're mentally training. So you're mentally training, and you can go through what you think them submissions are going to feel like in your brain. So then when you get back to the mat, you're like, I know new submissions without even training now. Yeah, that's the idea behind that. Yeah.
Yeah, I've also got kids what I can practice them on as well. So
that's quality.
That's opening. Yeah, for me, man, it's really weird. Like, oh God, it's been hard to try and vocalize this to Joe. I just feel like there's the best kind of training for me with jiu-jitsu, in my mind, is just physical. Like, whenever we would go over things and we would drill things, I was always hankering to just grapple with someone and just try and make things work, what I'd just been drilling or what I'd just been taught. So to like go over things and watch some fights and watch some jiu-jitsu fights, matches, and or even just watch techniques that I used to watch all the time. I get back and I go on a rabbit hole on YouTube and just watch new tricks and new this, that, and the other. I've just left it, and I don't know if that's going to be at the detriment to me when I go back. It will be, and I'm just going to have to start learning again. But it is what it is, but I've just not had no passion. All my passion has just gone to something else. Like at the moment, but I fucking still love jiu-jitsu. I'd do it tomorrow,
Yeah, I know what you're saying. But it's like jiu-jitsu is my life, isn't it?
Yeah.
So like I can't just forget about it. I've watched a lot of tape. I've watched a lot of like competition jiu-jitsu, not techniques, but I've been watching what people have been doing in competition and seeing what works and how I can fit things into my game. And yeah.
Do you think this, because there's two things there. John Danaher's always like, you should be watching matches and trying to predict the next moves, and that will then allow you to predict the next moves when you're rolling. But the other thing that I was just getting out of what Lee was saying is there's a fundamental sort of argument within jiu-jitsu. Kit Dale basically says you should not be drilling. What all you should really be doing is rolling. And I know Lee loves to roll. And I feel like as a beginner, you pick up quite a lot just from rolling, not really knowing much technique, but just rolling your way through, problems. Right. What do you feel like about that?
Right. Well, let's look at it this way, right? My white belt program, I've got a guy that's trained with me for maybe 2 years, and he never rolled. He might have rolled with me, but he hadn't really gone off and rolled with white belts and like just been able to do whatever. Because when you don't know that many techniques, you start rolling and you just make shit up, don't you?
Yeah.
You just make it up and like try and make it work, a bit of strength, a bit of that. And he hadn't had that. He's gone through my white belt program a few times, and then he started going to the more advanced classes. He's just killing people. Because he's doing the proper technique and not any bad habits that he's picked up. So going back to Kit Dale, I think like at a higher level, like rolling and making things work, that's like making things work under pressure, that's what you need to do. But I think at a lower level, you need to drill your technique. So you know the technique, you can't just roll. That's nonsense.
Yeah. That makes sense, man. It does make sense. Like, said it.
Yeah, if you've got like an understanding of all the techniques anyway, like the principles of jiu-jitsu, like when you're rolling, you make it work.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. Because obviously, like his argument, and obviously on his promotional stuff, is like I went from 0 to black belt in 4 years just rolling. But obviously, people,
it's true. That's really hard to do, and it's like Dion. I think Dion got his black belt in like 5 years, something like that. Yeah, crazy. Some people are like that, aren't they? They just learn quickly. I'm not like that.
I will say that.
No, I'm not.
It's true. There are different in every aspect of everything that you can learn, or everything that could become a hobby. There's always outliers out there. There's always anomalies where they just pick it up in no time. First person I ever heard with Jimmy Page, apparently sat down and picked a guitar up and just played it straight away. It's like, there's people out there that just get it, and then within like 4 or 5 years, it's like they've been playing for frigging 20 years or something like that. You see it now, like a 70-year-old blown away by a frigging 15-year-old bass player or something. It's just ridiculous. So there's like people that can just pick it up and it just falls straight into them, straight into their head, and they're just able to do it. I don't know. Like, I can see what you're saying though. I think it's true. I think whenever I as a white belt have been shown something once or twice and then rolled it, and then you get shown it again, it always seems to help to drill. Because you're like, whenever I roll with Joe, like you're someone that will drill over it, and you're like trying to drill through it, and it's like you know what I mean, and it does make sense. So I think that's just like the side of me that loves jiu-jitsu, but whenever I go somewhere, I want to get my heart rate up. So sometimes you can go to some sessions and you're like, like today, this week, I've got 3 sessions and I want to get my heart rate up. I want to work out, but I also need to learn. So you go sometimes, and then you might not even roll some sessions, or if you do, you might just have like a 1 5-minute roll, and you're like, oh, that's it. You know what I mean? And I think I put too much premise on that.
That's because you got a no-gi and then go home. that happens when you just go to no-gi class and then disappear straight after. In class after, it's usually like half and half.
Right.
So
I always do the no-gi before, and I'm not bothered about rolling that much because I'm old and broken, aren't I? So like 5-10 minutes rolling, that's all right, little warm-up. But then gi class, it's usually like 50% technique, 50% rolling, which is just bob on. I like that.
Yeah, I think that's a good mix. What were happening with me with the no gi and the gi was it's 3 hours. I was coming away from that session just feeling broke, just absolutely broke, because I'm only small, you know, and like usually rolling the big
feel better.
Yeah, you just get used to the pain. Yeah. I think you do.
Just keep going.
Yeah. So, Kieran, how did you get started? Who got you into jiu-jitsu? And let's talk about your story, mate. Where did it begin?
Did you do striking beforehand, or
no.
did you do jiu-jitsu first?
Right. So it was MMA. It all started with MMA. I used to watch UFC. I used to love watching UFC, and I always wanted to do it for like quite a long time, but there wasn't really that much about. I think I Googled, I searched it on the internet. It would have been old dial-up internet then, I bet, won't it? And found Felinkazan in Bradford, and I almost went there, but I almost went, but didn't a few times because I was just like, shall I? It's like a sort of a big thing, isn't it? Walking into a fighter's gym.
Yeah.
And then I heard about Dwayne putting classes on down in town. So me and my mate went down, and like just been there ever since.
Yeah, it's stuck.
Yeah.
It's stuck. Yeah, man.
So it were MMA classes, but it were mainly grappling what we did to start with, and then sort of branched out. I started going to more striking classes, and his school built up and got bigger and bigger. And I think in about a year I was fighting. Less than a year. Yeah.
Straight in, no fear.
Yeah, I've always liked to fight.
Yeah, so like as a kid growing up, did you ever get into any fights at school? Were you one of them kind of were you always one of them kind of people? Or were you just one to not back down from a fight?
Yeah.
Should we not talk about
that? I'd fight. If there were a fight there, I'd fight. Definitely. I won't walk away from one, nowhere. And then when I got older and started drinking, like I couldn't go out without ending up fighting.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just always end up in a fight. And then like finding martial arts, it's like the best thing what's happened to me, really. I've never had a fight since I've been in a ring. So yeah.
What did that do to you, man? Why do you think martial arts did something like that to
you? Because it made me realise that I couldn't fight.
Right, yeah.
It humbles you, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And then the better I got at fighting, like I didn't have anything to prove anymore. So yeah, it does that to you, doesn't it? There's no point. I'll just walk away. If somebody wants to fight, I'll walk away. Or if they don't back down, like I can just control them and make them want to give up. Which that's the beautiful thing about jiu-jitsu, isn't it? You can either use it to control a situation and calm it down, or you can kill someone if you want to.
Yeah, I honestly think like it proper reduces your ego, doesn't it? And I mean, I know loads of people have said that, but it definitely does reduce your ego because you sort of, until you step onto a mat, you sort of think you're Thor or invincible in some sort of way, and then all of a sudden your whole world gets flipped upside down and you realise you are mortal. And not only are you mortal, you realise that there's 20 people on this mat that could all twist your arm up and back and beat you. It proper humbles you. It's absolutely insane.
You just can't judge a book by its cover with jiu-jitsu as well, can you? I mean, like, look at Mikey Musumeci. Like, you'd look at him and you're like, that guy can't fight, but man.
Yeah, I think as well, like, you know, even if striking as well, you know, the first time you spar someone, the first time you learn how to throw a punch, you learn how to throw a kick, defend yourself, this, that, and the other, and then you'll spar and you're like, holy shit. what the fuck? Like, you know, and you realize that you didn't know anything before. And there's people out there that are on completely different levels to you who, like you say, a guy that taught me to strike a bit was a guy called Luke Turner, a Muay Thai fighter. And he is the most unassuming guy. I swear to God, he's just like this really skinny. He's like a, you know, whenever he took his top off, you see he's really ripped, but he's like, he just looks skinny. He's like a little fell runner's body, but he's just an assuming man. He's very gentle, quiet, but you see him elbowing people's freaking heads off, man. And it's just like, Jesus Christ. It just, I don't know, man. And then jiu-jitsu, when I first started, and you start doing jiu-jitsu, you look around the mat and you're like, you look over there or you look over there. But I think with jiu-jitsu, you look at people and you're like, you might look at someone and think they're unassuming, but if they've got their belt on and you see what rank they are, you're like, oh shit, he's got fucking brown belt, man. And then, you know what I mean? And you realize just how friggin' intense they could be.
Yeah, there's usually Joe Gill forgotten his belt, lurking about with a white belt on, isn't it?
Yeah.
With his short gi. His gi that's like to his elbows, isn't it? It's like, Joe, what you doing? That gi doesn't fit you, mate.
He's fucking strong though, is Joe. Isn't he? Joe Gill is strong. I remember rolling with Joe.
He's an absolute beast.
Yeah, he really is, man. But did you? So like that's what got you to grappling and jiu-jitsu then was just joining Dwayne on his journey in a sense, because you've been there, because we did a podcast with Dwayne. For anybody that doesn't know, you can go back and find that. But so you've been with Dwayne pretty much from the very start to a certain degree. And when did you say it was a year into it that you had a fight? How did you find fighting, man? How did you find fighting in a street to find fighting in a ring or a cage?
Fighting in the streets, silly. And fighting in a cage is totally different. I mean, my first few fights were just amateur fights, so there weren't no headshots. It's basically like grappling with kicks, with body kicks and leg kicks. But then when I moved up to semi-pro, you had like full contacts, head shots with small gloves on. And when you get hit round head with one of them, it's like being hit round head with a bloody iron pan or something. It's like, you know about it. I remember my first semi-pro fight, like first time I got hit and it just stung me. I stood there for a bit while I was getting hit to like registered, like, right, you need to fight now.
Yeah.
I still remember it now. Like, I still remember my head ringing from being hit.
That's mad, isn't it? Yeah. When you see them dazed, though, when you see somebody on MMA gloves and they get dazed and you just see that in their eyes, they're just like, holy shit. Like, you know, like it takes your brain a second just to like come back into reality and be like, all right, oh no, this is it. We're fighting now. And even some fighters, it takes them to get hit to start fighting properly, doesn't it? You know, like there's fighters in the UFC that like they need to get hit and cut before they actually wake up into the fight. Like, oh, this is real.
There's a lot of guys like that, isn't there?
Yeah. So did it put you off?
No, it didn't. No, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Losing ain't so good. I've lost. Yeah, losing ain't so good. Drawing a fight, I think that's probably worse than losing. And I had 2 draws. And at least when you lose a fight, like, you know you've lost. It's like, it's decided, isn't it? But a draw, you're like, man, I won that fight.
Yeah. It's not been decided for you. I mean, that's the other thing with jiu-jitsu, though. It's like, how many times do you lose, and how much your ego takes a massive bashing, doesn't it? And
oh man, I used to hate losing so much, but I've lost that many times now. I'm like, just whatever, on to the next one.
Yeah.
On to the next one, like learn the lessons and move on.
You think like when you're practicing rolling, like I know this happens to me, but when I'm practicing rolling, it's like I still don't like to lose even just a friendly roll. It's
no, you don't. No,
can't lose a roll.
Well, that's it. I know what you mean. I know you can't lose a roll, but you can. If you get tapped, you get tapped. That's it. You know, like that to me is a loss. Like sometimes surviving, you know, like you're just surviving and you know you lost, but I survived. You know,
they didn't get beat.
Yeah, literally, like.
Yeah, you might have absolutely muled me, but you didn't finish me.
Yeah, exactly. I think like part of it is what you've talked about, and I've heard you talk about this in the gym, is the blue belt curse. And the blue belt curse is you get to blue belt and all of a sudden all the white belts see you as a target, and you're no different than you were the week before you got the blue belt. And the purple belt seems so far away that a lot of people give up. Yeah. What do you think about that, Kieran?
I think when you get your blue belt as well, you've really accomplished something, haven't you? And you're like, yeah, I'm good at this shit. And then all purple belts and brown belts, like, no, game on. I'm going to turn it up a level now, just a little bit.
Yeah.
White belt's like, that bastard's got his blue belt. I'm gonna try beat him and show everyone that I'm as good as him. So yeah, you've just got targets on your back.
But a lot of blue belts do quit, don't they? They quit. Like it seems to be the belt that you quit at.
They do, yeah, they do, and it's usually like life gets in the way or people get an injury. That's a big one, isn't it? When someone gets an injury and they've got to stop training for 6 weeks or something like that, they kind of drift away and it's hard to come back, and that's how you lose a lot of people. But yeah, it's not for everyone. Jiu-Jitsu really isn't for everyone, is it?
Yeah. Well, you were talking before when you said, because I nearly just looped back to what you said before, is you had a double knee operation.
Yes.
So did you have an injury on one knee and then wait for the other one to go? Or did you do it all in one go? Like, what happened there?
Sort of, yeah. I had a bad knee for a long time. I had like meniscus tears, and then the other one started getting bad as well. So I worked it, so I had them both done over Christmas time, so I didn't have loads of time off work, and both of them at the same time. That was a bad move. That was horrible.
I'm going to say, because you usually depend on your good leg to get about once you've had a knee operation.
Yeah, it really wasn't a good idea. It wasn't a good idea at all.
What was the recovery? What was the recovery like as well, man? Because I always imagine when you've had a surgery like that, how long did it take, like weeks wise, until you start feeling good, like walking around and stretching and stuff like that?
It was quite a long time. I can't remember how much time I had off work, but I went back to work like too soon because I needed money, and like training, I probably went back to training too soon as well. And I know one of my knees, it took a long time to get better.
Do you do anything now to sort of mediate injuries, as in like yoga or certain stretching or certain ways you'll warm up into a roll or anything like that?
Yeah, I used to take regular yoga classes, but I drifted off from them a little bit, and I started doing like a mobility routine and concentrating on like strength work a bit more, and doing like short, sweet ranges of motion mobility routines in the morning and on an evening. And I've started doing them like on a dinner time at work as well now.
Right.
So
just explain what you mean by a mobility routine.
Yeah, what was the app you were using as well? You pointed me towards an app as well.
Because you had knee problems, didn't you? I pointed you towards the Yoga for BJJ app.
Right.
Because it has like a rehab section by Rosie Sexton, and it's brilliant. But I don't have that anymore.
Right.
I've been following a guy on Facebook called, I think it's Primal Movements, and he's got some brilliant videos. And there's like a few little routines, what take like 5 minutes, something like that. I'm all about short and sweet, because if it's too long, I end up not doing it.
Yeah, so mine goes, yeah.
What's really short, and I do it regularly, then it's better. I'm more likely to do it. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, 100%. 100%. I'm like that since the lockdown. Like I said to Joe, like I don't do one session of just lifting heavy. I lift heavy throughout the whole day. I will do like, 5 sets of 15, bench press, but it's be like all in the morning, and then I'll move on to shrugs, and then I'll move on to, triceps and stuff. I just do it throughout the whole day, because then it's just short and sweet, and then it's just volume over a period of time,
Yeah, it's a good way of doing things, isn't it? It's just too easy when you've got a busy day and only so much spare time and you've got like a big lump to fit in. It's difficult. It's just easy to think, I don't have time. But if you just do like a little bit of it, you've done something, something's better than nothing.
Yeah.
I do. I struggle with weightlifting. I don't struggle with yoga. Like 25 minutes of yoga is doing me fine. That's easy. But weightlifting, I tend to get bored.
Yeah, me too.
I can feel the benefit and I know the benefit of it, but it just doesn't give me the thrill that sort of like rolling and jiu-jitsu does. Yeah. But I also feel like jiu-jitsu is a different sort of fitness because I go on quite a few runs and get my heart rate up and get my breathing up. And I think, I've got a decent level of fitness, but then I go and roll for 5 minutes hard and I'm blowing out of my ass.
It's different, isn't it?
Yeah. So I was thinking, like, basically, do you think everybody's going to get back after this 9 weeks and all be sort of think we're to a relative level of fitness and then get on the mat and realize, holy fuck? Or do you think because you've got to your black belt and you understand the game more, that you'll be able to mediate that a little bit more?
I think we'll all be blown out of our asses, won't we? But we're all sort of blown out of our asses at the same rate.
Yeah.
As fitness will come back quick. Like 2 weeks hard rolling, we're there, aren't we?
Done.
Easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all we need.
I'm looking forward to it.
Man, it's going to be like Christmas. It's going to be like Christmas.
I think we should just have like a full day open mat. Just roll everybody.
100%.
They might do something like that. Maybe, I don't know, but I think you realise how much you need each other more and more now that this has happened. It's like I now appreciate all them training partners that are at Aire Valley because it's like, shit, I didn't appreciate you guys enough before. I just sort of turned up and got it in, but you definitely need the other people for jiu-jitsu.
Jiu-jitsu ain't all that when you just sat on your own, is it?
No.
Exactly.
It seemed like your fundamentals class was picking up and gaining momentum within the members that were coming to join. Hopefully, them members will come back. But what was the plan with that? Were you going to then go on to teach some more of the advanced stuff? Would you do a blue belt class? Is there any ideas around that? Because you said your teaching's going to change at the beginning. What have you been thinking?
I was just talking about my classes, like how I plan my classes and how I teach. I've like put quite a lot of thought into it. But moving forwards, I probably will teach some more advanced classes. I've spoke to Dwayne about it. So, we haven't sorted it out. But moving forwards, I would like to teach more advanced stuff. But the basics, I've been learning to teach over the past couple of years and I hated it to start with. I really didn't used to like teaching. And then I kind of threw myself into it at brown belt. And I still, even when I started regular classes, I still didn't really like it.
Why? Sorry, just stop you there. Why didn't you like it?
I didn't used to like it when Dwayne would walk in the room. I'm like, shit, am I teaching this right?
Right, yeah.
I just had confidence in my ability and my knowledge. But I think when I got my black belt, it just kind of made me realise that I do know.
Of course you know. Yeah.
I do know. It's okay. I'm okay at this jiu-jitsu now.
Yeah. And the thing about teaching, I can imagine. Sorry, the thing about teaching is you don't know just how much you actually fucking know something until you start having to dissect it and explain it to someone that doesn't know it, and you're like, I actually really know what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Because this person doesn't, doesn't have a clue what they're doing. Yeah, I can show it in a broken down way, but there's still an art form to it. I was talking to someone the other day about teaching, and the fact that you've got to speak to a room full of people, because Dwayne does it all the time. If you're running a class constantly, you're speaking, you get everyone's attention, don't you? But if you're doing it every day, it's got to be hard. I just feel like it's got to be hard.
Yeah, but the more you do it, you get used to it. So, exactly that. At the beginning, like you walk in and you got a really busy class and you're like, oh.
Yeah.
How well do I know this, what I'm going to show? Like all those kind of thoughts. But that soon went. And like, I absolutely love it now. I really do love teaching. Yeah,
because what the Gracies found was that they were losing a lot of people who weren't sort of achieving to get to the blue belt, and they were wondering why the membership, they couldn't ever get the membership above a certain amount. And then they implemented the structured Gracie Baja program, and they found that retained members because the members knew what they were sort of aiming at, as in a program of teaching. So week 1 we do arm bars, week 2, and you had to tick off these moves and know the structure of what they were talking about to achieve your blue belt or purple belt or have a direction.
Yeah.
How sort of much in the future are you planning your lessons, right? Is it a process of, right? Because the problem I see with that within jiu-jitsu gyms is you're getting new members all the time at different points of the year. So therefore, if they've missed the first 3 months, they've missed a third of the program. What do you think about that? Is there any thoughts around that, or
yeah? Well, what we do, we have a syllabus, and it's like the fundamental positions and techniques and submissions. So you've got basic sweeps. We start off with in seated guard with butterfly sweeps, arm drags to the back, and like real basic stuff. And we cover like mount and guard and, like basic fundamentals. And each week I'll cover probably for a couple of weeks, which is 4 classes. I'll do the same thing, because I used to do a different thing each class, but it's not enough time. So I'll do it for a couple of weeks, and then we'll move on. And it might take maybe, I don't know, I'm guessing maybe about 3 months to go through the syllabus, maybe a little bit longer.
Right.
And then we start again. So if people join at different times, it doesn't really matter, because everything sort of flows in to each other. And we just go around in circles. And like when you get to it again, people are learning, if they've done it once or twice already, they're like learning more details. Each time you do it, you pick up more details, don't you? Like even me now, like I'll go over the most basic of techniques and like picking up new details about it all the time.
Yeah. I feel like that, and I've barely been doing it. I've been doing it like a year, and I've gone to so many different classes that you're like, oh, we're doing this again. But it never matters. It never matters if you're covering how to sink in a triangle properly, because like it's all relevant, and it's all good information. And if you're constantly drilling it, then the more you drill something, the more likely you are to land that in a role. So it's weird how it works though, because I thought that at the start, or like, I'm coming to these classes, how are they going to teach me? But then if you, like you say, if it's a rolling kind of, like 3 or 4 months where they're breaking down like certain parts of jiu-jitsu, it makes sense. You know what I mean? It definitely does, I think.
Yeah, you see, I could train the same technique like for months on end. That won't bother me. But with new beginners, you can't do that. Like they'd get really, really good, wouldn't they? But they'd just get bored. They'd get bored and leave.
Is that how you go about? Is that how you go about when you roll? Do you aim for the same techniques for a few months so you know that technique? Is that
generally right? I'll have like a couple of things what I'm working on in my game, maybe something from top and something from guard or whatever, and like certain things what I focus on in a roll. So start rolling after class, like whatever technique we'll do it. I'll try to do the techniques we've learned, but then I'll also have like my own plan for my rolls. Yeah. If a lot of time I'll end up in a bad position, and you have to get back to where you want to be, and so that's good. Like working scrambles, getting to where you want to be, or like tap, reset, go again. So it comes back to what you were saying earlier, like winning rolls. You can't look at it like that. You've got to, see, me winning a roll is hitting a technique that I wanted to work on, that I wanted to hit in that roll. Whether 2 minutes later, if you like armbar me or choke me, like whatever, let's reset. I'm going to try hit the technique again, and that's how you make progress. When I was purple belt, I started having like regular PTs with Dwayne, and what we used to do were every Saturday I'd have like a new little thing what I wanted to add to my game, and then all week I'd roll with everyone. I'd try and get it to work and see what was going wrong with it, and I'd go back to him and we'd make just a little tweak, and I'd go back and like I'd maybe work the same thing for ages. Like
that's cool, man. That's really cool.
Of months, and you just make like little tweaks and right, they're defending this way, so what can I do to counter it? And it's kind of like how you build your game, focusing like that.
Yeah, I mean, I hear people that take a year, that just all they work on is triangles for a year. You know what I mean? Like there's other things that they might trickle in and out of, but primarily all they're trying to work on for a year is just triangles. You know, I know you can break it up, but it's the kind of same ethos, isn't it? Of just like working on one thing. You know what I mean? You're going to be doing, how long you've been doing jiu-jitsu for 13 years, even if 1 year all you spent was working fucking wrist locks. I think
I've done that this year.
It does feel like he does just work wrist locks, especially when he's rolling with me.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? It's the same ethos, isn't it? And you can't go wrong with that. I think it's, you know, if in tattooing all I did was realism for a full year, didn't take on any other different kind of work, nothing else, you're gonna slowly sharpen up certain edges, and it's all going to start to become a better version of you a year before that, isn't it? So in jiu-jitsu, I think it's a good idea. It's always hard though, isn't it? Because you always want to try and do something else. Your mind wanders off.
There's so much cool stuff to do, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah. This like the endless amount of techniques. It's like, which one do I focus on?
Yeah, you see, I were a purple belt for a long time, and the reason, there's lots of reasons, but one of the reasons was because I used to go training and roll without any focus. So
right.
I know loads of techniques, and I'd just hit whatever opportunity came, and I'd make my technique work for that opportunity, rather than having a focus and thinking, right, I'm going to do this, and like getting to that position and making that work. And because I did that, I never really got any better. I was all right, everything that I did, but I didn't progress.
Yeah, so you'd say within the purple belt, you were still not as focused as you should have been on improving.
No, a big chunk of my purple belt years, I was not focused. It was later on, like late purple belt, probably the last year of being purple belt, I really got my focus back and concentrating on competition and improving. And then I got my brown belt, then my black belt. I think I was brown belt for 18 months, about 18 months. So I got my black belt relatively quickly after that, and it would just change my focus.
Right.
Yeah, that's interesting.
When did you? Sorry, Joe. Just talking about competing there. I wanted to segue straight from that. When did you start competing in jiu-jitsu? I know we've already spoke about MMA and the first part of that, but did you start competing in jiu-jitsu then as well?
Yeah, we used to compete at no-gi competitions. There were ground control in Manchester, what Jason Tan used to run.
Right.
Long time ago. And I remember we all went down to British Open no-gi, and various competitions would go, but it'd always be no-gi. I used to be the no-gi guy. We're all no-gi guys.
Yeah.
But the gi came later.
What do you prefer now?
I'm definitely a gi guy.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Why? Is it? Do you feel like it's more technical? You can play more tricks. You can.
There's more to it. There's more submissions. It's more technical, and to me, it's more fun. It's more fun to watch. People that say gi jiu-jitsu is boring, I just don't understand.
Yeah.
Do not understand. I like all jiu-jitsu. If I'm doing no gi, I love it. I love all jiu-jitsu, and submission grappling nowadays, as it is, it's kind of sort of going off on its own little tangent, isn't it?
For sure, yeah.
But like some matches are absolutely fantastic, but then a lot of them, see a lot of stalemates and people just grabbing feet and not that much happening. Whereas like some gi matches are just absolutely on fire.
Yeah.
You get the same in the gi. You get your stalling matches, and there's an argument on both sides, isn't there? But I love the gi.
Yeah.
Right now,
how do you prepare for your competitions? Then, is there any specific formula that you do to prepare for competitions? Are you nervous? Do you still get nervous when you're competing?
No, anymore. No, I used to suffer really badly, but not so much anymore. Last tournament, what I did it was the beginning of March. Aire Valley Martial Arts. That was my first black belt tournament, and I went down to London on my own, and I wasn't nervous at all. I was maybe I saw the guys I were competing against, and one were a 3rd degree black belt, other were like a 5th degree black belt. I was looking at the stripes on the belt like, shit, these guys have been black belts longer than I've been training. Maybe let that get into my head a little bit and give them too much respect, but like nerves wise, like I don't get those like the butterflies or the nervous feeling anymore. I'm excited to be there, and it didn't used to be like that.
No.
I just try to think of any excuse why I didn't want to be there. But then once they're on the mat fighting, like great. But up until that point, didn't enjoy it.
And do you, so as you're training up towards a competition, obviously, because there's the thing about rolling, and we don't really roll 100% all of the time because it's impossible to, because you're just going to pick up injuries and stuff. Do you have to roll 100% before a competition?
I've gone through. I'm getting older now, 38 now, and like when I was younger, we'd turn it up and train like loads of hard rounds. The last tournament, what I did, I barely trained for it. I made sure my skills were on point, and I'd roll like the odd hard round, but very selective. And I felt that resting was more important than going hard. You can go hard on the day. I know how to go hard. And I've kind of been... It's been difficult for me over the past few years because in my head, I'm still young, but my body's like disagreeing. And I've been trying to implement more rest and training more sensibly. I've been looking at heart rate monitors because you can like track your heart rate and see if you're overtraining and things like that. And I'm like looking to get more technical with it. Like I don't yet, but like that's my plan.
Yeah, Lee's definitely your man you need to talk to about heart rate variabilities and heart rate monitors.
I don't know about heart rate availability, but you know more about ECGs and things like that and the heart in general. But I don't know much. No, it's true. I think it's so true. Connor Mackleston, I heard about the Whoop band before. Well, Connor Mackleston, lanky, big, tall Connor.
Of course.
He showed me the Whoop band and I got it, and I've had it ever since. And but then you can get it in like a sleeve as well that you put up here, and it constantly measures your daily activity, your day strain, everything you go through. But more importantly, it's a really accurate measurement of your heart rate variability, because if you're wearing it all the time, it takes your heart rate throughout the whole day and night. It monitors your sleep. It's a really, really accurate sleep monitor. I've had a Fitbit before and an Oura Ring, but the Whoop band seems to be really, really accurate. Honestly, even sometimes it wakes up in the morning. You wake up in the morning, it doesn't seem to have caught the bright what you've slept, but then it will sort it out through the day. It's a really, because you pay a subscription fee for it. So like it's got a really good service behind it, and this collects all the data and then works out from there. But what I found with my recovery, because I was training really, really hard at Jiu-Jitsu before this all finished. In fact, the last week before we finished, I think I was at the gym 5 times. I did 7 sessions, 5 different 7 different classes over 5 times I went there. and it just showed you how accurate it is in telling you how beat down you are, basically, how low your recovery is, because it picks you up over a certain period of time, and you've got like HRV settings. It's accurate, and if you want to, but the problem with it is telling yourself not to train, because if you put days aside when you're like, oh, right, I know on Friday I've got a heavy session, but then you wake up on Friday morning and you're like, your whoop band's like, nah, man, you're down at like 30. You need to, your recovery is super low and your heart rate variability is super low. You need to have a rest day. Are you going to really rest?
Yeah, once you've had it for a while though, and you understand how your body's working with what training you're doing, surely you can like plan your week more effectively, because you know how you're responding to the amount of training and how much rest you need. So like after a while, you should be like fairly iron out all the creases there and get like a good schedule that works for you and your body and recovery.
Yeah. You just need. Sorry, go on.
I think what the thing about it is with heart rate variability is the fact that a schedule's beautiful and you should definitely try and stick to a schedule, but these things we're picking up, especially within medical terms, they can pick up like 3 or 4 days before you get ill. So your heart rate variability, like you could have picked up say for instance a bacterial bug or whatever, and you may feel fine, but your heart rate variability is ahead of what you know. So it's like, actually something's happened. I'm not fine. My schedule can't stick to what I usually stick to because something's changed, whether it's I've had a bad night's sleep 3 days ago. So it's that way of using data to influence what your sort of mental side can't tell you. It's weird, man. It is weird, but it's definitely the future of training.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely the way forward, because like the past couple of years I've had so many injuries, and it's because I do too much. I just do far too much because I enjoy it.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
But I think another big answer. Sorry, Kieran and Joe. Like the other big answer is how fucking hard. If you're training really hard, how hard are you recovering? You can't. It's so easy to say this, that, and the other. But what tricks do you know to implement that you are actually going to implement? Are you going to get the right sleep? Are you gonna, and that we can all mess around. Since lockdown's come in, my sleep's not been great. I think the most amount of sleep I get is like 7 hours. I used to get like 8 hours, but honestly, it's either 7 or under. Some nights I can't get myself to bed before 12, whereas I used to be 10 half 10, but that's obviously because of everything that's going on. But I've implemented other things, having cold baths or like trying to do stretches and stuff like that, because I've got a really weird sore hip that's just come from nowhere as well. I've been doing quite a bit of walking, but you've got one of those massage guns, just being cognizant of recovering, how hard you are recovering as much as how hard you're training.
Yeah, well, usually I've got foam rollers and massage guns and massage balls, and I stretch. And I tell you what, if you've got tight hip, right, my hips and my knees and my ankles were killing me the other day, so I stretched my quads. Spent loads of time just stretching my quads and then my hamstrings. Try it there. Try it.
Yeah, good call.
It might not, but at least you'll have stretched quads if you do it.
And a silver lining.
It made a difference to me. I were in agony. I were in absolute agony, and it really helped.
I like how you implement the foam roller and the stuff like that. Every time I'm at gym, I can just picture you with that foam roller. I just think, is he in pain constantly? Because he's just constantly rolling, but he's always here, so he must be. But I think that's part of what I really admire about you, Roy, is your mentality towards it. Because you're always there, you're consistent, you're implementing, like you say, you want to implement new things. Even now you've reached black belt, it's like, no, I've still got things to achieve and still want more and more out of this. And you're now becoming more aware of what your body's telling you and the need to relax. So, I think everybody can learn a lesson from that. That's absolutely amazing.
I need to sleep more. That is for sure. Like Lee's on about 7 hours not being right good. I think I average about 6, maybe 6.5. probably a good night for me, that.
It's hard though, isn't it? It's hard implementing stuff like that, you know, like you work all day and then you come back and you've got what you've settled down, make your tea if you're going to make your tea, and you're disciplined not to order a takeaway, and then you've got like three hours of your own time, really, or 4 hours before you're like, right, I need to get to bed now. I used to be really good at it, but obviously not beforehand. I tell you what you were really good at, and I can't wait to rub it in, because you're a really avid sauna user,
Yeah.
and obviously all of us have heard over the past however many years, and just recently as well, just how beneficial saunas are to humans. And I ordered one like about 4 weeks ago, an infrared sauna for my attic. It's going to take forever. I think it's going to be another 4 weeks before it gets here, and I still not logistically thought how I'm going to, because they just delivered it on a crate unpacked outside my house, and I've got to get into my attic, so I'm gonna have to. My brother can't social distance at that point. My brother's gonna have to come and help me bring it into the house.
Is it going to end up just living outside the back door?
Yeah, probably. Or just living in my on the bottom floor, just unpacked, and I don't ever use it. No. No, the reason I did that is I've wanted to use the sauna more regularly, and we've spoke about that before in tattoo sessions, Kieran. And I think that's a massive thing, being able to use the sauna. If you can implement code as well and all that kind of stuff, it's all little tricks that you can use that have been proven to help you recover, so you can train harder as you get older. Because like you said, man, and you alluded to, as you're getting older, it gets fucking harder. And it just does, especially when you're doing jiu-jitsu, man. Yeah.
Everything hurts, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But sauna is so important for recovery. I really do swear by the sauna. Not just your muscles, but like your whole body, inflammation, and like I'm not bright enough to remember like all the ins and outs of how good it is, to be fair, but I read a report on Dr. Rhonda Patrick, on her website about like the benefits of saunaing. I'm like, this is awesome. Yeah. Absolutely awesome. But like the main thing is inflammation. Inflammation is the root of all disease, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, exactly that. Yeah.
So if you can combat the inflammation, you're really, really, really helping yourself, aren't you?
Yeah. So if you can use all the tricks. You can sauna. You can do cold plunges. If you can implement those, but then you can also, as long as you're not eating inflammatory food as well, because you could be doing all them kind of things, but then going home and eating tons of chocolate, Haribo, and eating all the stuff that just inflames you. If you're eating, I don't know. It's a fine line, isn't it, of what you want to do? Because we're all. Have you noticed
that though? Like not doing jiu-jitsu because you're expending so much energy. I was saying to Lee that my diet. I've kept my diet pretty much the same. I feel like I'm putting on a little bit of weight because I'm not, even though I'm working out, I'm not expending the same amount of energy as I would if I was doing jiu-jitsu. So it's like, how's your nutrition when you're training, Kieran? How do you go about your nutrition?
Yeah, right. Well, I eat a lot. I do eat an awful lot, but I'm active. Like I'm a stonemason and a bricklayer, so I'm picking up stone all day long.
That's why you're so strong. That's just clarified why Kieran's so strong, everyone. He's fucking weightlifting all day.
Yeah, and what I do now as well when I'm working, I treat it as a workout. So if I've got stone to pick up, I'll do deadlifts, and then I'll lift it to here and press it if I need to, and I try and keep the proper technique so it's benefiting me rather than work.
Fucking super strong. I know that. I know you are super strong. That explains a lot.
Yeah, I think a lot of your strength as well, Roy, comes down to, I think we spoke about this, and Daniel Strauss talks about this a lot, is your grip, and that will be just not from your hand as well, because you're constantly carrying bricks around, but in your forearms as well. Yeah, and if you could grab hold of someone's lapel and you've got a strong grip.
On the arm here because of it, from picking stuff up and gripping, and it kills me elbows. I've got to do a lot of work on my forearms. Yeah, I've always got bad wrists. I'm really easy to wrist lock. Why don't none of you wrist lock me?
So I was just thinking, in my head then I was just thinking, right, to beat Kieran, what we need to do is get him a desk job. Fucking just fucking get him out of lifting all that stone. And like, give him a desk job for a year and he'll be fucking struggling there.
I did 2 years in an office. I've only been back on site a year. I did 2 years in an office before that. I hated it.
Yeah, I bet.
Couldn't do it. I just needed to be active.
Yeah, you're that sort of person, aren't you? It's your genetics. You're hardwired into movement.
So going back to why we started talking about work. I'm active all the time, and I eat good, but I eat a lot. So then I had 6 weeks at home when we went into lockdown because site shut, and I just kept eating. Just kept eating like I eat. And
what you weighing in at 90 kg?
Well, let's put some light on a second.
Yeah. I'm going to say we're losing Kieran to the dark side.
It was sunny. It was sunny when I sat down.
Yeah.
So I kept eating, and the tournament at the beginning of March, I fought at 69 kilos, and then before I went back to work, I was 82.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, you fluctuated then a bit.
That's just ridiculous, isn't it? And now I'm like fight weight again. I'm 76 kilos. That's like what I always am.
Yeah.
Before a tournament, I'll just clean up my diet just like a little bit, just to get them last kilo and a half off.
Yeah. But Kieran, in terms of your nutrition, like, you know, you're a black belt jiu-jitsu like competitor. You're what kind of food do you eat, man? Do you eat oats? Do you eat? Do you know what kind of protein do you take in? Are you a vegetable eater? What kind of carbohydrates do you take in? What? I think I've spoken to you about this when we've done tattoos, but like, tell the people who you tell your fans basically. No, basically what you
trade
eat,
secret.
Man. The trade secrets.
Well, at the minute, I go through phases with my food. At the minute, I'm eating meat. I'm eating like a lot of steak or chicken. Okay. And what I'll do, I'll take a load of rice, a load of salad, a load of steak, and then I take a lot of nuts and fruits and I eat them in between. So I'm eating like every couple of hours.
Okay.
I've absolutely no idea how many calories I need. I just seem to eat the right amount.
Yeah.
Just eat till full. And those kind of things. I've got a big thing for pineapple. I like to eat pineapple and peanut butter. Bit weird.
I fucking love peanut butter. I can't get enough of peanut butter, man. I can eat it straight out the jar. It's like fucking peanut butter.
Do you get the like pure peanut one, or do you get the slimy one? I don't like this. I just like peanuts.
The crunchy
one. Yeah, crunchy. It's got to be crunchy.
Yeah, it's got to be crunchy.
There's one called Meridian, but then Aldi have started doing it, and I don't even know if I'm talking about the right one here, because
same one, man. If you barcode scan it, it's the same one. It comes up as Meridian, even though it's Aldi.
Yeah, so it's the same one. So and they're the best ones, man. That's the best stuff. And so, but what it sounds like you're eating is a lot of very inflammatory, anti-inflammatory foods. Basically, you're eating a whole foods, you know. So yeah, man, it sounds like I remember you said that before. Anyway, I just wanted people to hear that you're not a kind of I just drink beer and have takeaways and all that kind of thing, and I just
I have odd beer every now and then,
for sure,
but not many. But I like to eat. I try to eat a lot of nuts, a lot of greens. I like to make sure my meat. I don't like highly farmed meats. Like I kind of avoid pork and a lot of chicken. I always make sure my chicken's like free range chicken, and because you hear all sorts about your meat, don't you?
Yeah, you want. If you're gonna get, I think if you're gonna eat meat, you gotta get meat that's like it's unprocessed. You know, you just don't want unprocessed. Exactly. It's like anything, isn't it? If you're gonna be eating vegetables or anything like that, you want to try and have unprocessed vegetables. You want it as organic and as whole grain or whatever as possible. You know what I mean? But sometimes it's just it's nigh and impossible to make all that happen, because I don't know, like. You go shopping sometimes and, you have the best mindset to do this, that and the other, but we're only human as well. Like, I think the other day I it's a problem with the kids. I don't know what you're like with this.
Yeah, exactly.
Just kids have got food in the house, and you're just like, I'll make food for them, and they won't eat it all. So like, I've got to do all the washing up and all that kind of shit. So I'm like, I'll eat bits of their food, but then they're getting sweets, and then I'm like, oh no, I shouldn't eat sweets. Well, I'll have a few sweets. I'll just have a few sweets, it's only a few sweets, but it's sweets that I wouldn't normally eat before. So kids are the root of me having a little bit of back fat. You know what I mean? It's kids, man. It's not my
genetics.
It's the kids. Oh, look at that.
Do you know what I find? I find with the eating meals and training, especially jiu-jitsu, it's like I can't really seem to get the timing down. And I'm not just like, obviously, because the timing for the lessons at night are sort of around tea time, and the ones in the afternoon are exactly on dinner time. So I was like, either do I not eat and eat afterwards, or do I have to wait an hour? Because jiu-jitsu is like, there's a lot of pressure on your stomach, especially if somebody goes knee on belly. And it's just like, how do you get your timings for eating? Like, do you wait an hour before you train, or can you just eat up to it and it doesn't bother you? Or?
No. I can't eat an hour before I train. No, I need at least 2 hours, and that would be like a light meal. Like on a Sunday, we train at 10 o'clock. I don't eat before that. I just go training on an empty stomach, and then I'll eat after. Saturdays as well. Saturday I have my breakfast at maybe 1 o'clock when I get home after teaching and training. And then during the week, if I'm working, I'll make sure I'll probably have like a little snack, like maybe some nuts and fruit, maybe a couple of hours before training, and make sure it's probably about 4 hours before like a big meal. And then after training, I'll eat.
Yeah.
I'll eat a lot.
Yeah.
I think that's where I'm. I think that's sort of what I need to start doing really now. Now I know that I'm going to start implementing something like that, because I think it can definitely affect how sort of sharp you are. You know, if your stomach's feeling a bit like full, you just want to rest. You don't want to exert yourself.
Yeah, definitely. And what you've eaten throughout the day, and also how hydrated you are, can make such a difference to your training. If you're slightly dehydrated, it can make you a little bit slow, and like you don't have that much energy, you can't think, and it makes such a difference.
Yeah. It's these little hacks in it that we need to know about. It's been absolutely awesome as this, man. I've took a lot away from this, to be honest, and it's been actually really good to catch up with you after so long as well. So thank you for doing this.
For me as well, like I knew that there were questions that I wanted to ask you as well that you've answered, but I've already spent hours with you, man. Like, so there were a lot of things that I'd already asked you myself, because I knew I was going to get time to tattoo you. And it won't be long until I'm massaging you with my needles again, and you'll be feeling all good about it, and you won't be in any pain whatsoever. So
no, they don't. No, tattoos don't hurt, mate. They really don't. I don't know how you do it, but they just do not cause any pain.
This is it. This is it.
It's remember that. Tattoo it. If everybody knew.
Did you tap him out, Lee? Did you tap him out with your tattoo? The one time you tapped Kieran was when you were tattooing.
He wouldn't even tap out to needles.
I just sit there telling you it doesn't hurt, don't I?
Yeah. And I think that's at the point, Joe, when it hurts. This doesn't hurt. This not even hurt.
Yeah. Just fucking 5 more hours.
Okay.
That's awesome.
We'll sign off with this, because we all go to the same gym, and we all can't wait to get back to that gym. And there's going to be people that are going to be listening to this that are from our gym, Aire Valley Martial Arts in Keighley. And I went on a long walk today, man, and I listened to the Jiu-Jitsu podcast, and they were talking about gyms reopening, because where they are in Montana, I think they're on the 1st of June, they're allowed to open their gym again. And they were talking about this, that, and the other, and they started getting a bit angry about it all, this, that, and the other. And I just think it's time to, I know that they're phasing it in now in the UK, because we've had a higher death rate than other countries, but I think they're going to phase it in now. They've already talked today about certain retail places being open from the 1st of June, and then more of them being open from the 15th of June. We're getting McDonald's back. We're getting all these Starbucks back and all this kind of stuff. I think it's time to open to let people go back to jiu-jitsu. But when we do, how do you feel like it should be done? Do you feel like it should be just there's a lot of stipulations. We can only have training buddies. We can only do this. We can only do that. Or we just have allotted times and we just go in and fucking train.
Let's just roll.
Yeah, I think so.
Roll. I personally think, like, all the social distancing thing, I don't think it's necessarily the best thing. Like, I don't want to go into it too much, but like strengthening your immune system, like making sure you're healthy and you have a strong immune system is definitely better than locking yourself up and not coming across anyone. Like, people are carrying viruses and bacteria that you need to come across. Yeah. Like, they're gonna reduce these restrictions. People are gonna go out and they're all gonna end up ill. Or possibly. I'm no expert, absolutely no expert, but that's definitely the way I see it. So I'll roll. I'll just roll with everybody, mate. Yeah. If they're ill, I won't roll with them.
Well, and there we go. What you just said there, and Joe, I think you'll attest to this. If you're fucking ill, don't go to the gym.
Yeah, but that's how it is anywhere, right?
Yeah.
If someone's cold, like if someone feels like they're getting a cold, you stop at home.
Yeah.
And that's how it is. Like, that's how it needs to continue to be.
Yeah. And even more so now, you know, if you've got any kind of infection, whether it's a bacterial infection, or you know, you've got a cold or whatever, just don't go to the gym, because we don't want to fucking close the gym again. Just be more cognizant and you know.
Yeah, and if you're not into that, stay at home.
Yeah.
If you're scared of catching something, stay at home. But I want to roll.
I have definitely an urge. Somebody wrote on Facebook and they said, I'm getting angsty now. I need to roll, you know, like, and it's like, I felt that this last couple of weeks. I've been all right since these last couple of weeks, but now I'm like, I need to roll. Like, it was part of my life before.
Yeah.
And I'm missing that part of my life now. And I'm finding it starting to find it difficult mentally focusing on what I like to focus on without that part of my life. But also, I'm like fully cognizant that the world's changed and maybe we might have to adapt to that change. And especially with this track and trace, I'm not 100% sure how this is going to affect gyms.
I don't even know too much about it, to be fair.
Yeah, well, the thing is like, obviously with the viral illness, it's like you may be carrying it before you become symptomatic. And that's the problem with training, because you can feel well and go and train, and then the day after you can be like, fuck, I've got a cold. I've already had that and been training with everybody.
Can't we like get regular testing?
Well, this then becomes like, it's obviously a massive subject, and I don't want to end on this, but I think the way it progresses back into training, I think it becomes not what it was before initially. And the reason I say that is because I follow a few other gyms, and they've already set measures out already to their members about how, once this lockdown is released, how they're going to implement measures to keep everybody safe. And what they were saying is that they are going to do it within groups, because then if one person from that group with this track and trace method gets it, that group then pulls out, but the rest of us could train. And I thought that was like quite honest. Like, I don't want that it to be that way. I don't, because I love training with everybody, and the gym's a community. But I think initially it's not going to go back to how it was straight away. And I think that's where the sort of teachers as yourself and the owners need to be starting having some ideas about, if it is only groups of 10 or groups of 5 that are allowed to train, how are they going to work it, and what measures are going to be made. I would love, and I'm saying this is how I would do it, I would love for everybody to go back in, like you were saying initially, and just have a fucking full day's rolling with everybody, and just let's share each other's fucking viruses and whatever, you know, like I'm down for that. But I don't think that's how it's going to work. I don't think that's how
you're right. It's like, that's the best way to keep the gym open, isn't it? So we don't end up shut down again.
Yeah. Especially
we do all need to play ball, don't we?
Yeah, and the fact that you're going to have certain members who will, how do I put this? Who will be more vulnerable, as in such they'll have elderly parents or somebody vulnerable in their household. And it's okay sort of saying like, we all want to get back to jiu-jitsu and I want to fight. And I do. But what if you had a member that had like their dad had cardiac issues and they had certain insecurities about it? How do you manage them things within a gym, you know, especially now everybody's aware of these things and aware of how susceptible we are for a societal shutdown. It's changed the game as such. But it'd be interesting to see how Aire Valley deal with this and what the government say about training together, because I know they've already started training outside and they're trying the best in this time, and you can't fault them for that at all. But yeah, I can't wait to see what happens. I can't wait to get back training definitely with you two. So hopefully soon.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, definitely, man. Yeah. Man, it's been really good. So I ended it on that, but I just wanted to see what you guys thought about it. But yeah, man, it's been proper good to have you on, Kieran. Hopefully we'll have you on again, like maybe when we're all back training again and we're back in the groove of it, and you're wrist locking us again and tapping us out.
My wrists are feeling good at the moment.
So it's taken a lot away from you there. You definitely can do way more than wrist lock me. Like, but I just there's just so many times when I'm like, I've got him. Ah, fuck, shit. And then my wrist like.
You've become known for wrist locks. You've become known for wrist locks, man. Like. Wrist locking white belts.
I wrist lock white belts and kids, and I don't care.
Yeah.
That's quality. Yeah, I really enjoyed this. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Thanks for coming on, man.
Right, thanks for having me, guys.
No worries, man.
Take it easy.
Us.
Bye. Us. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.